Thank you for coming to see little old me, but I am going to talk to you guys about being unapologetically yourselves and knowing your worth. So before I get started, I want to tell to you a little bit about what I do, who I am, because, how can I tell you guys to be unapologetically you if I can't even deliver who I am? So my name is Arielle Chambers. I'm born and raised in Raleigh, North Carolina, but I moved to New York City around 7 years ago. I was a model, I cheered professionally, but ended up in sports media and sports journalism. I'm a writer for The Next, and I also content curate and manage a platform named Highlighter for Bleacher Report. And it's a women-centric, women's focused, intentionally covering women, a brand of Bleacher Report. And so one of our portfolio brands that is just up and running, we're 18 months strong, we're almost at 70K, so tell your friends all about it. The whole point of the platform is to push women and showcase them in the sports and culture realm. But I want to make this whole moment that we have together very interactive. So please feel free to use your hand raising tool on Zoom if you're there. My homies on Facebook use the chat feature, also use the chat feature in the Zoom, because we really want to make this about us, right? Especially at a time like we have right now, and it's just, you never know what type of day it's going to be. I'm just happy that we can come together and fellowship, and just I get to see your faces, some of your Abbies, which are really cute, and just join together in unity and womanhood and allyship and everything like that. So I made a little outline. I'm not typically one to make an outline. I like casual conversation, but since we're through a screen because Corona won't let us be great, I made you guys an outline. So to be unapologetically you, I have four little pillars. It's who am I? What empowers me? What am I willing to compromise? And where do I see myself going? So I hope you have notebooks. I was an English major, so I like to tangibly write things down. If you have a computer, that's great. Or if you could just keep them in your head, that's great too. But starting off with pillar number one, who am I? So a lot of times when people ask this, I have to sit back and be like, who are you, Ari? Like, who are you genuinely to your core? I want to start with acknowledging your purpose. So guys, I want you to visualize this. I want you to contemplate, like, what is my purpose in life? What drives me right now? So write down what you think your purpose is as of right now. So I'll give you a second to do that. I'm gonna write it down too. We're all coming together. We're all figuring out what makes us us. Give you guys a few more seconds with that. So once you have your purpose written down, those of you who are still writing, that's totally fine. Those of you who are still thinking, that's totally fine too. But you have to ask yourself, why is that your purpose, right? It's everything I want to be done intentionally. So when you have your purpose written out, think of what drove you to that. Why is this something that you're drawn to? Why is this something that you're pushing? Mine in particular is, I love telling women's stories. I think my purpose is to be the megaphone for women, to amplify their voices, especially when they're not, being told. The stories aren't being told. So my why is, I have to think about it like all these untold stories, all those times where we didn't have our voices being heard in the past, all the moments where we have to push to get our voices heard in those rooms that always deny us or don't want to necessarily listen to a woman's side of things. And that's not playing the victim. That's just, historically we've been muted, right? And so I feel like because I'm so loud anyway, I'm so audacious in everything I do, my why ties into my purpose because I have the capacity to be that megaphone. So that was just my little example for you guys. So sit there with yourselves for a couple minutes or a couple seconds and figure out your purpose and knowing your why. So I want you to write that down. Mine's written down. I'll be checking in. I see some of my friends, some of my tribe, my sisters on the line. Thank you guys for being here, by the way. Shout out Jackie, shout out Ashley. Is everybody good with that? Everybody's written it down? Okay, next. This one's a tricky one because it can go any way. But I want you to intentionally write five things to describe yourself. How would you describe yourself? If somebody said, who is Francine? Who is Jada? Who is Terry? What would you say? Or all of you guys out there. And again, I'm giving you guys a couple of minutes to do this because I know it can be a little bit, a lot to unload and just, have that self-actualization, because I want, again, be very intentional with how you describe yourself, because this is what we want to embrace. This is how we want to portray ourselves. This is how we feel about ourselves. So it's really important to be in touch with that. It's okay if you drop your pins too. I just dropped mine. So I have my 5 I'm going to share with you guys, and feel free if you're proud of them, which I would love if you guys are. If you want to share them in the chat, if you want to share a couple traits about you so we can get to know each other, put them in the chat, shout yourself out. I'm okay with that. I love that. I love when we can talk about ourselves, because as women, we a lot of times don't talk about ourselves enough. So hey, if you're feeling like, I love this adjective about me, I'm about to put it in the chat so everybody can know that this is how I describe myself, feel free, go for it. But for me in particular, mine is audacious, because I've been obsessed with the word audacity for the past 3 years, and I want to walk in that and live in that. And so that's always been a way that I describe myself. I am a walking example of that. Love it. Bold, which again goes with my audacity. I'm very empathetic. That can be a good thing and a bad thing, right? I inherit the feeling of everything. I think it's the Pisces in me. I don't know if y'all are in the zodiacs, but that's another way to describe me, a Pisces to my core. I'm passionate, again, ties in with my empathy, because Lord knows I feel everything that comes my way. And that can be good things or bad things. It could be good or bad. We never know. And I'm a lover. I love everybody. I try to do right by people. And that's just something that I'm very proud of. And I love my faith. I love my family. I love my friends. I love what I do. So just walking in that love and light. Let's see if the chat has anybody. No, okay, we're shy, it's fine. Or you don't even have to share. It's your zhuzh, it's your beat. So with all this that describes you, I want you to think of where you work or what place in life you are, and seeing if those things align with you. I want you to see if those characteristics that you love about yourself are ever being sacrificed when you are in a place of work, or when you're at your school, or when you're with certain people. That's something that you really have to focus on. If anything changes who you are completely misaligned. That's a really, really big tip for you guys. I noticed that certain situations, certain settings, certain people take me out of character. And that's not being unapologetically yourself, because you're not even being yourself. If you're not aligned with what you need to be aligned with in life, it's going to take you on a completely different path. And that's not the direction we want to go. It's just not, it's not fun to be taken outside of yourself. You don't even recognize yourself if you look in the mirror. It's just not it. That's not what we're trying to do. So those 5 words that came to your mind like that, as you're listening to this kiki moment that we're having at 4 o'clock, I want you to take those with you. And then every time you see yourself coming outside of those adjectives, coming outside of those traits about you, question, is this where I need to be? How can I change my setting or my direction so that it can align with me? And, how can I be around something that helps enhance these traits about me? So that's something I want you guys to consider when this whole pillar of who am I is happening. And again, chat is open. I love to we don't have to stay on track. We can go off track. It doesn't have anything to do. Shout out to Ashley Chu. I see her in the chat. She's artistic, hardworking, goofy, determined, and precise. I actually went to her gallery opening the other day, and shout out to her, love her artwork, and she's sharing that with the world. Again, alignment. Her friends showed up for her. That's your tribe right there. Speaking of tribes, that takes us to pillar number 2, what empowers you? I've noticed that in 2020, we're still having first women. It doesn't make sense, right? When we're the first or the only, we shouldn't be satisfied just being present as one in a space that we can own too. We can be just as good, if not better. We're probably more equipped. Let's be honest. Like, come on, we're probably more equipped. But these spaces that deserve more of us, we deserve to be there. The world deserves a women's perspective, period. I want to know what empowers you guys. So write down right now, what empowers me? Yes, Jada. Jada is active on this chat. Her creativity, her artisticness, and her encouragement shows up in her work. Love it. That's a good point that Jada has in the chat. She says she dumps herself down to accommodate others and make them feel better about themselves. This is what I've always, it's always shaken me to my core, that we feel compelled to adjust to people who might be blinded by our light, as opposed to just shining. And the right ones who are meant to be there won't get blinded. They'll be attracted to your light. They won't dim it. They won't suck it from you. So don't ever dim your light. It sounds so cliche, but don't ever dim your light. If you're shining, you're doing no service to anybody by turning it off. So when it's a matter of you feeling like you have to make yourself less than because others can't handle that, ask yourself, why am I surrounding myself with people that are less than, and that they can't handle who I am fully? Really reevaluate your settings. That's what I always have to do. We have to take responsibility for the situations we put ourselves into. That's another thing that I have really had trouble understanding. Like, my job isn't to make people feel comfortable. My job is to stay with these 5 traits that I describe myself as and live in my truth in that way. So it's just a matter of being unapologetically you, knowing who you are, and being surrounded by what empowers you. So guys, right now you should have what empowers you. So that includes what excites you daily. I would love for you guys to write down what energizes you on a daily basis, especially in 2020 when everything that could possibly happen has been crammed in 1 year, right? It's hard to get out of bed sometimes. Sometimes I just look at Tiger like, I'm not about to get up. I'm not. Tiger's my dog. He's a 3-pound Yorkie. And I'm like, Tiger, another day, I turn on the news, I'm depressed, right? But I have to find something that excites me. To me, my dog excites me. He's out of frame right now, and I don't know why. When I actually need him in frame, he's nowhere to be found. But that's what excites me. What excites me is there are more stories to be told on the women's side of things. These are all things that help me get out of bed in the morning, right? Let's see. Cynthia says what empowers her is being connected with positive and enthusiastic women, giving and receiving. That's dope. Again, we cannot continue to be satisfied with being the only or the first woman in a space. Terry Jackson, one of my, I guess you could call it big sisters, told me once that that's not something that you should be excited about. You should look to your left and to your right and want more women to be surrounding you. You're not empowered if you're the only one, right? If you're sitting there screaming something and it's echoing off of empty walls, that's not registering. But if you have a whole team, a whole tribe with you that can help amplify that, that's when your message gets across. So that's another thing that brings me to the empowerment. Think about your tribe. Consider your tribe. Who is your tribe? Like, I see my friends in this girls' night in online, and I'm like, thank you for supporting me. And that means a lot to me. That's my tribe. I have my little family on Twitter. That's my tribe. I have my family at Bleacher Report. That's my tribe. My family at the Next. That's my tribe. My friends who I have the same best friend who actually I'm raising money for her small Black business creation. I'll tell you about that a little bit later. but we've been best friends since we were 4 years old. And we have a group of us that are going on 25 years strong. So that's amazing to me. And they help me, and they can give me the real when I'm feeling down. My 3-pound dog, though, he might be emotionally vacant, he's present. So he's there, gives me like a spark, an extra motivation. Love to see it. Let's see. Jada says, I have started an energy chronicle where I recognize the energy that vigorously catapults me during my early morning walks. I'm hoping to turn it into a book soon. You better do that book, Jada. Do that book. Love to see it. Also, morning walks help me a lot. Runs help me. I've run excessively. It's kind of sick. I don't know why I do it, but hey, I'm doing it. Just something for incentive, and I just love it. We have a question from Facebook Live. How have I been able to battle rejection and fear that comes with it? So I'm still in a place, if we can be completely honest, where I'm like, oh God, what if there's not another opportunity, right? But there's always going to be another opportunity. And that's something that it's hard to really realize. It's hard to understand that what we think we want for ourselves, I'm of faith, so I'm not gonna like put people out, like I'm not gonna ostracize people that don't have faith, but I know that my God has, you know, my thing's already written. So if I don't have an opportunity that works out, another one will come. Especially this year, I've learned that life is too short to fear rejection. You just have to go after what you want. And again, that goes along with the alignment, right? If you perfectly align yourself with what your mission and your purpose and your goals are, there's no way it won't work out in your favor. I'll give you a testimony. Me in 2018, I thought I had this dream gig, right? And then somebody had stopped me from achieving that. Somebody got in the way and said very nasty things about myself. But instead of, I moped for like a week. I let myself have that pity party for a week. I did. And I was very, very upset. But then I said, I'm not changing myself for this one job. I'm not changing the way I go about things because it's not sustainable for me. And I was just patient. I still worked hard, worked steadfast, like really kept my eyes on my goal. Again, that's why I said in the who am I section, you really have to figure out like what is your purpose and what is your why. And if you have that written down where you can read it and you can see it, then nobody can take you away from that. That is like a written message. That's a mission that you just can hone in on when the times get rough, when you forget, when things get cloudy. That's something you can really sit there and focus on and have a goal. It's not just a dream because you wrote it down, it's a goal, and you can have steps to prepare yourself for it. But back to 2018, when I thought my world was over because I lost this opportunity, I got rejected, right? I got rejected. People didn't like my delivery of things. And then I was blessed enough to have a company that said, we want you to be yourself. We trust you fully. We want you to do exactly what you would be doing if you weren't working for us, but just under our umbrella. And it'd be foolish to say it was easy. It was not easy by any means, but I was aligned. So it drives me every day. I wake up excited to do it, no matter how tired, no matter how I'm just like, oh girl, you a little rough today, but perfectly aligned. So when that fear of rejection comes, just know that if you still have your eyes on the prize, there's prizes lined up for you along the way. It's like the Mario. I don't play video games, but I'm assuming that he chomps on things as he goes, and there's more beyond that one little chomp, right? There's like a whole line of little chomps. So think of Mario and his chomps. Yes, Jada. Jada is active in this chat, y'all. Jada and Cynthia are holding it down for me. I love that. Ashley Chu, let's go. So then now I want you to write down your Get Pumped song. Why does it pump you? So write down the song that you're like, this is what I'm blasting when I'm getting ready to go out with my girls. This is what I'm blasting in the morning when I wake up. This is what I'm blasting when I'm having a bad day. This is what I turn on to just, drive me. So I want you to write it down. Write it down right now. Please use the chat for this one because I want to get our little girls' night chat popping. We have a wide range of music. I don't mind that. Let's get it. Diversity. Yes, Jackie. Marry the Nate by Lady Gaga. We love Lady Gaga. We love her. Keep it going. Let's get a whole playlist in here. Use the chat. Born to be wild. Motivation T.I. Yes. The South. The South. I will survive. I'm getting ready. I love it. I love it. So now we have a playlist. We're leaving here with a playlist. We love to see it. This week, On My Way, Alan Walker. Yes, yes. Keep it going. Keep it going. We're about to make a girls' night in playlist going on here. Mine in particular is Let Me Blow Your Mind by Eve and Gwen Stefani. I'm still stuck in an era, so we haven't made it past like what, an 03 situation. It's cool, but I think that the lyrics in there, Me Here Ain't No Mistake, it was planned on. That was like the lyric that stuck out to me when I was in middle school and high school. It still sticks out to me far beyond college, right? So Eve basically told me how my life was set up, and I listen to it whenever I need a little bit of motivation. But just think of what drives you in that song to keep attacking the day, keep going forward, keep moving. What about your personality or those 5 characteristics line up with that song? What are you taking from these songs? Why are they so popping to you? That should tell you about yourself too, right? So all this is great news. These are great songs. I'm about to screenshot it. And I know my Facebook Live family over there is having fun too. I hope y'all are active in the chat too. Yes, My Shot in Hamilton. I actually really love Satisfied, and I don't know why. I heard the soundtrack before I saw the play, but anyway, I digress. So yes, Jaden Smith, we love to see it. So again, we're only on pillar 2. Oh God, I'm going slow. Yikes. So pillar 3 is, what am I willing to compromise, right? We have a lot of times where we get in situations where we think this is our ideal situation, but they're like, but you got to sell your soul, or but you got to do this, right? And we have things that we can be like, okay, I'll give and take, but we have our non-negotiables. So I want you guys to write down, what are some non-negotiables for you? And then ask yourself when you're writing them down, why are you not willing to compromise those? I'll give you a couple minutes. I'm still hyper over on music. We're lit now. Ashley Chu was talking to herself this whole time because her settings were on one person. That's hilarious. Sorry, listener. I love you, Ashley. Again, what are some non-negotiables for you guys? Me, I grew up, and I've always been, I think because I'm the only child and only grandchild, that my mom has always been like, no, you're perfect the way you are, right? I've never had somebody tell me, oh, that's not right, Ari, right? In my personality. So my non-negotiable is my delivery, the way I conduct my interviews. My job is to talk to athletes, and I want to do it the way I want to do it. Conventional journalism isn't my thing. That's a non-negotiable for me. I don't want to refine the way I talk to people, because I think that takes away my character, right? And that could easily be compromisable to other people. Like, they can just be like, no, it's fine, I can just turn it on and off. No, I don't ever want to have to code switch in a space. That's another thing, especially for Black women, or just women in general that don't want to shift to a men's mentality, whatever that means. You should not have to switch yourself up if you're properly aligned, if you're not risking or sacrificing those 5 things that are really a part of you. So my thing is, I'm not willing to give up my personality. I'm not willing to, right now, if I don't feel led, I'm not willing to straighten my hair. I'm not willing to conform to a standard of beauty that takes me outside of like what I want to do. I want to be able to wear my bamboo earrings. I want to be able to wear my red lip. And that's just me. Some other people have other non-negotiables. These are my non-negotiables. So what did I do? I aligned with somebody that let me be me, celebrated me for being me. And this includes, like, I'm a model too, so this includes my clients. A lot of times I'm very vocal on social media. The clients that are uncomfortable with it, I'm sorry, you're not the client for me. These are non-negotiables for me. You're not going to mute me in my presentation or my voice. My voice is a non-negotiable. My delivery is a non-negotiable. The way I present myself is a non-negotiable. So really write down what your non-negotiables are. Let's see. Ashley Chu said, Every time I've negotiated, it's backfired creatively, socially, financially. Yeah, code switching up. Yeah. So negotiation's interesting because I've always been the one to throw out bizarre things and see where we land. You just have, whenever you're negotiating something, just think of things like beyond what you thought was expected, or just leave it as an open-ended question. I'm not the best talking about financial negotiations. I'm not going to even act like I am. So I'm going to just be quiet on that one, because y'all not about to say Ari told me anything when I can't even give you the proper things. But just know that negotiations go in every aspect of your life. So, you know, whether that be appearance, whether that be like anything else, financial, make sure you just land on a place where you're comfortable and make it seem like the other person's right. Trick them. We have language that can trick them into thinking, oh, I thought of that the whole time. Again, not a negotiation coach. That y'all not about to leave out here saying I already said to do something and it backfire. Ain't gonna be a mine. Nope. Christopher Pearson said, my authenticity and being able to be creative. Yes, stay authentically you. Activism. Yes, Ashley, is a non-negotiable. I love that. I love that. Kat said, character, morals, and values are included in there as well, and how I treat others. Absolutely. If a job is trying to make you be mean to somebody who's in a lesser position or somebody who's in a different position, I can't mess with that. I cannot mess with that. And shout out to our Facebook Live crew, adding Lionel Richie to our playlist. A lot of times we talk about knowing your worth, right? You have to figure out what you feel like is currency. What is your currency when you talk about knowing your worth? Again, these go into your non-negotiables, but knowing your worth also carries into those negotiations, saying what job that you would turn down despite how much you might need or think you need this job. I know a lot of times people throw out the term Black girl magic. And I encourage this for not only Black women, but women in general. We're not magicians. This is hard work, right? This is not like we pull work out of the hat. And a lot of times as women, we're so stuck in being the first, being the only. So knowing that there's not that much space for us yet, that we're like, no, we'll do everything. It's fine. But we have got to know how to balance and say no. You have got to know how to be like, I think that this won't work out for me. And just know that no is a complete sentence. And I tell that to everybody, and I'm sure you guys have heard it, but it's so true. You don't always have to have an excuse why you don't want to do something. You don't always have to just have to like appease people just to appease them. That goes along with your currency. You want to make sure your bank account is positive. If you have people withdrawing, and you're in the negatives, nobody can withdraw from you anymore. There's nothing to give. That again goes with pouring from a full cup, but let's talk about in currency. If your bank account is in the negative, you can't pay for anything. There's no spending there. There's nothing there. So you want to make sure it stays on the positive. And by saying no, just like you tell yourself no before you swipe for that bag that you might want or those shoes that you might want, you got to say no. And you don't always have to have an excuse to say no. Just no. It feels really good, y'all. I say it all the time. It's great. It's great. Let's see. Yes, burnout is so real. So real. So real. And I'm still learning. Again, I'm over here delivering this message like I know I'm about to go work till 1 a.m. But it's fine. It's fine. We gonna learn. This is a journey. This is not something that actually rent due tomorrow. No, rent is not due. Anyway, but no, this is a journey. We're gonna have to learn how to be comfortable with saying no and trusting our ability, trusting ourselves, and trusting that we're equipped to move on despite if we lose that thing that we say no to. That's another thing. The risk that we think that we have by saying no, we have to trust the fact that we are equipped as women, as ourselves, that we can keep going despite if we lose it or not. Michelle says, I feel frustrated with my life. So Michelle, I would just ask yourself as we're going down these things, why? When those things that I said to tell about yourself and how if you're aligned or misaligned, there's a misalignment somewhere in there. And we have to figure out how to fix that. We have to figure out in what way can I get myself out of this frustration and into my journey that's specifically crafted for me, right, Michelle? We have to sit there and be like, okay, I'm frustrated with let's say a job, right? Why are you frustrated with the job? Because they're disrespecting me in this way. These are non-negotiables for you. So you're meeting them with frustration. Um, it's a matter of communicating that frustration with the people who are making you feel uncomfortable and fixing it. You said things don't seem to go your way at times. Planning. So what is priority for you that you would consider going your way, and come up with steps how to achieve those goals. And it's okay to not know what you want out of life. It's okay. It's okay to keep going. It's okay to be right here and looking at an empty blank page and like, Ari, I hear you talking, but I haven't written down a thing. That's completely fine. It is completely fine. You don't have to know what you want out of life, but you do have to know what drives you. You do have to know what ignites something within you, because if you don't, you're not necessarily living. So my challenge to Michelle out here, our homegirl Michelle, is you don't have to know the big picture. Just know little itty bitty things that, again, the Mario, he's chomping on one at a time. Figure out what fills you as you chomp, right? Just even if it's oh, I looked at the sun today, or oh, I took a walk today, or I think I'm gonna splurge on a 3-pound Yorkie that doesn't care about me, but he's there, you know? And it's okay. You said, I can't seem to know what I want out of my life. I want a career, not just a job. I want to find love, but I can't find it. I want to be happy and have friends, which I don't have. My life is incomplete. That's fine. That's all fine. A lot of jobs fund your passion. They fund it so that you can make your passion your career. So start with a job that just keeps you living, keeps you surviving. I had to do it. I mean, granted, I was a hostess only for 1 week because I couldn't take it. But I found cheerleading. Cheerleading made me money. I loved it. But that cheerleading wasn't my career. I ended up in sports media, but it funded me to get to where I needed to be. So just use these jobs as little tools to do what you ultimately want to do. You want to find love, but you can't find it. Girl, we are in Corona. We shouldn't even be interacting in person. We're good. You'll find love. I'm sure you will. But first, that comes with loving yourself, making sure your account is not in the negative, because you cannot give somebody something if there's nothing in there. So again, goes back to number one. Who am I? And that's how you feel about yourself, how you present yourself, standing strong in that, because you want people to love who you are, period, right? Who you are fully. And if you don't present who you are fully, it's not going to align. It's all about staying true to those principles of yourself in alignment. And yes, we have my good sis who says, shift the mindset, start with gratitude lists. That should help you get unstuck. My friend Isis told me, lead with gratitude. I remember my first few months on the job, I was like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. And she said, change it to, I get to do this. I remember years before, I was crying, eating 3 for $1 bananas, stealing toilet tissue out of public places because I couldn't afford it, all to cover women's sports. But then I was employed in Bleacher Report, where I'm perfectly fine and I'm still complaining. Why am I complaining? Right? So instead of I have to do, or gosh, I'm tasked with, just be like, I get to do. I'm able to do. I'm waking up with the ability to put a pen to a paper and write down a vision and a goal and achieve it. So write out those things that you want to do and figure it out. Figure out a way. People aren't going to hold your hand through life. It's just not going to happen. But figure out a way how you can achieve what you want to achieve. But you have to first know what direction you want to go. And that doesn't mean you have to know what you want out of life. That's such a loaded situation. Figure out what you want for today, for tomorrow, for the end of 2020. Maybe even 2025. We don't know, sis. But like, just figure out which direction you want to go. Which brings me to my fourth point. I know I'm already 10 minutes over, but whatever. We out here. Where do I see myself going? So that's, again, thank you, Michelle, for bringing us to that point. Visualize where you want to be. Tangible goals. Let me tell you something about vision boards. They work. I have to start off every single year with a vision board. And I'm very, very, I I realize, again, faith. I realize I have to be very specific with God, because I'll be like, God, I want campaigns, and He'll give me a social campaign. I was like, I'm in a storefront, and then I'm like on a little path, and I'm like, I mean a whole full, like, But be very specific with your goals, because that way you'll be able to plan out how you can achieve them. So again, we don't have time to necessarily write down where we see ourselves going, but really do a vision board. Take the time out to cut those magazines up, or even make a list on your notepad. Write it down. My notepad has these up here because I'm left-handed and I don't like to see the smearing things, but I, for some reason, have not caught on to technology and still like to handwrite everything. But anyway, do the vision board. Create those goals. Create those steps to get those goals, and just figure out little things that will make you happy along the way. They're tangible goals that you need. Michelle says, I feel no support from my family. We're all distant. Hey, you have a family right here. We're gathering in the middle of the week at 4:00. I'd say that's a family right there. Reach out to some people on this chat. We got you, sis. We'll keep you lifted. That's why we're here. You obviously have a family here because you knew how to RSVP to it. So we got you. I promise you, we got you. And I promise you, you're not alone. We have all been stuck. Girl, do you think I thought I was going to do sports media coming out of college? I was on a teaching fellow scholarship my first 2 years. Imagine me trapped in North Carolina trying to teach for 4 years. No, can't do it. Love NC, by the way. Love NC. But all in all, my whole thing, I say all that to say this. To be unapologetically yourself, you have to know yourself, right? You have to know, who are you? And if you're of faith, whose are you? What empowers you? What gets you excited every day? What are you willing to compromise? What are those non-negotiables? What are those things that you're just like, this doesn't feel right, I'm not gonna do it. And know that it's okay to not do it if it doesn't feel right to you. Because if it doesn't feel right to you, it probably isn't right for you. And where do you see yourself going? So what direction you wanna go? I mean, the journey is already written for you, but you gotta kind of steer. Just like those roads already existed. You kind of gotta get on the steering wheel and drive it. Just know things aren't gonna come to you just falling on your lap. That's why I really always encourage people to write down what's going on, write down what they want to achieve, because if you can see it, that means it goes from a dream to a goal. And that's a really big difference. So that's my spiel. Know your limits, know what feeds you, know what makes you happy, and figure out balance. I was going to go on a whole thing about balance, but that's going to take us till like 5:30 and we ain't got the time, and I don't want to get yelled at. Anyway, I'm opening it up for questions. If anybody has questions, throw them in the chat. It could be personal questions. It can be, we can extend it to other people in the Zoom or in the Facebook Live, but feel free. We have the time right now to talk now that we're here. If you need anything that can be answered by either myself or somebody else in the chat, let us know. You can reach out to me on social media. I'm terrible at text messages, but for some reason, great at DMs. I'm Ari Ivory, ARIIVORY, on every social media platform. That's Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, like everything that you can think of. Facebook is Ari Ivory, because shout out to NC State for saying cohesion early. But yeah, and I'm also raising money for my best friend since I was 4, her business. She actually lost her job due to Corona, and she started a jewelry business. So check her out. It's Creation, CHRIS.A.SHAWN. But you can also donate. Again, Venmo is Ari Ivory, so it will all go to her. Just throwing that out there, because Krishan works hard. And again, that's about your tribe, right? She's helped me through a lot of things, and I just want to help uplift her at this time. And I've bought plenty of her jewelry. You guys, if you don't feel led to donate today, just at least check out her shop. If you DM me, I'll give you her website. But I love the earrings there. I'm not even a big accessory girl, but I love them. But if you do want to make a donation, feel free. And yeah, so that's all I have for you guys today. I do mentor young girls. I love that. I love y'all fuel me. So if y'all do want to reach out to me, feel free. Thanks, Lynn. Love talking to you guys. It's hard sometimes out here in Jersey alone. So you guys have been my family for the past hour, and hopefully we'll keep that relationship. Oh, Jackie. Yes, Jackie mentors me too. She thinks that I'm her mentor. You mentor me too. You talk me off ledges all the time. So thank you for that, Jackie. Any Jersey girls rock? I will not claim that, Peg. I am a North Carolina girl, but Jersey is my residence. So I'm like halfway Jersey. I'm like 50% Jersey. But yes, y'all rock, we rock, all of that. But yeah, just reach out if you have any questions, and much love to you guys.